speaking of, who wrote this? Captain Trips says, SEC Dog, I see you finally got a quarterback. Congratulations. Let's go ahead and talk about it, Mark. Georgia and Mississippi State. Did they find their quarterback? It appears that they have.
If they did, I don't know why Kirby Smart found him like weeks later than everybody else found him. He was the guy that everybody's been saying, why aren't we seeing him? He's been cleared to play. Why aren't we seeing him?
This is the problem. This is because why wasn't he playing earlier in the season? And there's some conspiracy theories out there that maybe JT Daniels was the one saying he wasn't ready to play. And it wasn't the coaches. I don't know. And I don't know if we'll ever find that out, but it does look bad because if he was ready to play or if he was willing to play and they kept Stetson Bennett in there against especially the Florida game, and that could cost them a trip to the playoffs, that could end up being a very bad look for Kirby Smart. The other thing here is what has happened to Georgia's running game? They had less than 10 yards rushing in this game, Mark.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say is that I'm a bit curious to see more out of JT Daniels in this offense because I got to think that Mississippi State's approach going into this game defensively was, we know JT Daniels is talented, but he hasn't played for over a year and never played in this offense in a real game. So why don't we just load up on the run? And I didn't watch the game. I saw like a highlight reel of JT Daniels making like 6 to 8 throws in this game. And of course they were the best 6 to 8 throws. So maybe they loaded up against the run because Georgia's always got one of the best running attacks in college football. Now, I don't believe it's as good now as it typically is. It's not and hasn't produced the entire year, but not 10 yards rushing. So yeah. I don't know how much of that was Mississippi State loading up the box to say we're going to make them beat us in the air and give them one-on-one matchups, and how much of that was just Georgia not being able to run the ball. Yeah,
I think it was a combination of both. I think Mississippi State has a pretty good run defense statistically anyways. And Georgia just doesn't seem to, I know they have Zeus, and I guess that's their lead guy. He had a rough day. He's had a rough couple of games actually in the past few weeks. But he's not Sony Michel. He's not Nick Chubb good. He's a good back, but he's not the great ones like you're normally used to seeing from Georgia. But and people will poo-poo this win and say, oh yeah, whatever. It was Mississippi State. Look at Mississippi State's record. Mike Leach is no good. Whatever the excuse is here, but they very easily could have lost this game. And if I'm not mistaken, I didn't see. I saw maybe a quarter and a half of the game, but Daniels didn't start the game, did he? They brought him in later, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
I did not notice that.
I feel like that's what I heard. I don't know. Can somebody in the chat can confirm or deny that? I don't want to be wrong about that.
I can pull up the box score.
Yeah. Spurs up game Cucks. Thank you for the donation, sir. Says JT Daniels is legit getting ready for week 1, 2021. Yeah, so that's what Georgia's looking forward to now is their matchup against Clemson as the kickoff game in 2021. So, yeah, I mean, they needed to get that quarterback situation straightened out before next season for sure.
Nobody else threw a pass in that game for Georgia.
Okay, all right, so I was wrong. Yeah, Gator Zone says, yeah, he started. I don't know where I got that from. Percy Von Higginbottom says Stetson Bennett will be Kirby's starter once healthy. Kirby loves those South Georgia boy. I don't think so at this point, Percy. I think the change of the guard has officially taken place at this point. And for the little bit I saw of the game, he did. I mean, he was impressive. He's not a real mobile guy, and I don't think he was a really mobile guy at Southern Cal either. He's more of a pocket passer. But he can move a little bit. He's not. I think he's a little bit more athletic than Jake Fromm was. He's able to at least escape the pocket and escape some pressure, which Fromm wasn't very good at. But he's not a guy who's going to run, do 10 quarterback designed runs a game and run for 60 yards in a game and 10 touchdowns a year or anything like that. But he has an impressive arm for sure.
That was the smartest Florida fan I have ever heard. I hope you listened to everything he said, Mark. But hey, Florida man, Relax, buddy. Everybody, yes, you're right. Todd Grantham is terrible. Everyone knows that. Everyone already knew that when Dan Mullen hired him. But listen, dude, half glass full, buddy. Count your blessings. You somehow managed to win a division with Dan Mullen. Do you know how hard that is, Florida man? That's a minor miracle. Somebody should report the Florida Gators to the Pope or the Catholic Church or whoever it is that hands out sainthoods. I think you have to have 3 miracles. This is one. Dan Mullen won a division. So be happy that you got that. I mean, now if that's all you're going to get, he's 100% right. Smartest Florida fan ever. That team I saw today ain't gonna. It's not gonna beat Alabama. It's just not gonna happen. Blame Todd Grantham if you want to. Dan Mullen, 12 years, no conference title. That's not changing this year. You know it. I know it. And the American people know it. Dan Mullen, the highest paid clown in the history of Barnum and Bailey. But why is everybody talking about Florida and Alabama and Ohio State and Indiana and Rutgers and Michigan and all these other teams that nobody cares about, and not talking about the best, greatest story in all of college football, and that is J.T. Daniels Christ. 28 of 38, 401 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 74% completion percentage. And Mark Rogers, we rushed for 8. Yes, that's right, 8 yards today against Bigfoot and that Mike Leach defense. Our defense never even showed up at all today. And guess what that means, Mark Rogers? That means Georgia's quarterback won a game. Let me repeat that. Georgia's quarterback won a game. That is the biggest story in all of college football. It has not happened since 2016, Mark Rogers. Would you disagree?
I was going to throw out Aaron Murray, but if you're going to go 2016, we can go 2016, sure.
Yes. There is a game or two that you can credit Jacob Eason for winning in 2016. We didn't have a quarterback win us a single game in 17, 18, or 19, and he damn sure didn't have Stetson Bennett or DeJuan Mathis win you a game. They rode along for the ride in 17, 18, 19, and the first 5 or 6 games of the season this year. But tonight, Mark Rogers, the sky cracked open. Down came J.T. Daniels Christ on a white, puffy 18 speed, fresh from the West Coast. Mark Rogers, J.T. Daniels Christ is such a deity. He raised Demetrius Robertson from the dead, sir. Demetrius Robertson with multiple catches today for UGA. The first time since 2016 that anyone knew about or cared anything about Demetrius Robertson. Yes, it took a Pac-12 quarterback to bring Demetrius Robertson back to life. J.T. Daniels Christ. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I feel sorry for whoever Georgia plays in the Outback Bowl. Don't you?
Well, something tells me that if I click on your channel and catch your Georgia post game, that I'm going to hear much of this take from the heavens.
Yes.
Now, how did Georgia only run for 8 yards? I did look at that box score as well. I only saw one play in the game. I saw the J.T. Daniels bomb that he threw for the touchdown. That's the only play. I did DVR the game. I don't know if I'll get a chance to watch it, but the stats do look impressive. But that is Mississippi State. You're not going to go too hog wild on one game, are you?
I'm not going on. I agree. It's Mississippi State.
Okay.
But Mark Rogers.
Yeah.
Auburn. Tennessee.
Yeah.
Arkansas. Kentucky. Are these elite teams?
Absolutely not, but I think they're better defensively than Mississippi State. 28
of 38, 401 yards, 73% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. I get it that it's Mississippi State. And no, J.T. Daniels, there's no Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields or Kyle Trask or Mac Jones, but that's not where the bar is at UGA, sir. 9 of 29 for 112 yards against that terrible Todd Grantham defense that the Florida man was just talking about. Do you remember that?
I've got the perfect guy on the line. I've got the perfect guy on the line to answer some of my questions and fill in the blanks, because I'm going to give you my 15 to 30 seconds on this situation. So I watched the Arkansas game in week 1. I saw Stetson Bennett come in. I thought that was going to be a stopgap and he was going to figure it out and get JT Daniels on the field as soon as possible. But he continued to play against, as you said, Auburn and Tennessee. And I thought, this is not going to win Georgia a national championship, but they might be able to beat Florida if they get this game manager type Jake Fromm play out of Stetson Bennett. Doesn't make any mistakes, throws for 220 a game, no picks, couple touchdowns. Maybe they nurse the best roster in the division to an SEC championship game with Stetson Bennett. But then he started making mistakes, obviously, against Alabama, and they fell apart and it came off the rails in the second half, and Stetson Bennett was just a complete train wreck. I thought the Kentucky game gave them a perfect opportunity to audition their quarterbacks to either say, we're going to take who the best quarterback is in practice and we're going to let him throw the ball like 30, 35 times because we're going to kill Kentucky. They're not going to score more than 3 points against us. And we can use this game to work on our passing game for the Florida game. Or we can audition quarterbacks, but they didn't do either one. Then they go into the Florida game. Stetson Bennett's horrible again. DeJuan Mathis is horrible. And they finally get to JT Daniels. So have you been able to uncover what the hell is going on and why JT Daniels has not been on the field before tonight?
Well, I mean, listen, I love Kirby Smart. He's quarterback ignorant.
He's great. I mean, with everything else, let him bring the kids in. As you well know, it's just a tremendous program. But my goodness, they need to break the bank and bring in the best quarterback coach that they can find. Quarterback evaluator and coach.
Listen, you know how I feel in general about the Fromm and Field situation.
Yes.
But at least, I disagree with the argument, but I understand the argument for going with Fromm over Fields. I disagree with it, but I understand it.
I'm with you. I disagree with it too, but I understand it. Yep.
Yeah.
At least he was capable.
There's no logical explanation this year. There's no logical explanation for Stetson Bennett and DeJuan Mathis over JT Daniels. Now, Kirby can't. Kirby tells everybody, "Well, we play the quarterback who gives us the best chance to win and looks the best to play." We know that's a lie about Justin Fields and Jake Fromm. Any idiot that's never seen a football game can watch Justin Fields warm up for 5 minutes to clearly tell he's better than Fromm. But so you got to think. So there is no explanation. Now, I'm assuming Kirby is going to use JT Daniels' knee as an excuse. That's all it is an excuse. You don't clear a player to play once. You understand this. Numbers are what they are. You're not allowed to just dress out people for fun and travel 200 players to an away game. You have limited numbers, and these coaches, they want every available player for special teams and depth and all that kind of stuff. You're not dressing JT Daniels out and taking him to any game. He's not available to play. So it was a coaching decision not to play JT Daniels until today. And that's on her. Now, the Georgia media is a bunch of wet paper towels. They're not going to push him on that. They're going to buy whatever BS excuse he trots out in the post-game press conference today. But honestly, Kirby was in a no-win situation today. JT Daniels plays great. The obvious questions are going to come. What the hell were you waiting for? If JT Daniels would have came out and played terrible today, and you go, why are you recruiting all these terrible quarterbacks? So he was in a no-win situation, but he created this situation himself. But I didn't call in the bash today. Today's a great day. Everyone should be on their knees right now and worship at the altar of JT Daniels. Christ, Georgia found the quarterback running high.
Appreciate that, Lou. All right, Uncle Lou. I can't disagree with him. I've been right there with him. I was a little bit more of a supporter of Jake Fromm than him, but I agree that you play the best quarterback, and it's obvious in practice. These coaches know who's good and who's not good, or who's great and who's good, or who's acceptable. In 2018, Clemson was winning football games. They were undefeated early in the season. They had gone to the college football playoff and won the ACC with Kelly Bryant as the starting quarterback. In that conference, with that roster and that talent, Dabo Swinney could have gone to another ACC championship, won it, gone to the college football playoff with Kelly Bryant as the quarterback in 2018. But he did what he knew he needed to do to win a national championship, and that's take the freshman, roll the dice just a little bit, roll the dice, play the freshman. His name's Trevor Lawrence. He goes on and wins a national championship.